If you have found yourself questioning why so much spiritual guidance speaks to the divine feminine, while the divine masculine seems silent, overlooked, or untouched, you are not alone. Many of you feel confused, even frustrated, wondering why the masculine is not given the same direct instructions, the same healing focus, or the same clear roadmap. This confusion often comes from a deeper place of longing, wanting balance, fairness, and progress in the connection, yet sensing that something is missing or stalled. Beneath the questions lies a deeper discomfort, the feeling that union cannot move forward no matter how much effort is made from the outside. In today's video, we will gently but clearly unravel this mystery. You will begin to understand why union is not led through the masculine path and why the divine feminine is always addressed first. This is not about blame, hierarchy, or strength versus weakness. It is about energetic structure. The divine feminine is the foundation, the grounding force, the stabilizing field, the living grid that holds the blueprint of union. We will explore why healing must begin here, and why attempting to heal the masculine without restoring the feminine only creates repetition, exhaustion, and delay. By the end of this video, your perspective will shift. You will no longer see the focus on the divine feminine as imbalance or neglect of the masculine, but as precision and wisdom. You will understand that when the foundation shifts, the entire structure responds naturally without force, chasing, or struggle. This clarity will bring relief, empowerment, and calm. Instead of waiting for change outside of yourself, you will recognize your role as the catalyst, the stabilizer, and the silent leader of union. And once this truth lands, everything begins to reorganize both within you and beyond you. Section 1. The Divine Feminine as the Living Foundation. The Divine Feminine is not a role to be performed or a title to be claimed. She is the grounding force of creation itself. She is the living foundation upon which all higher expression becomes possible. In energetic terms, she is the earthly grid, the stabilizing architecture that allows higher dimensional light to descend into physical reality without distortion. Without her, spiritual truth remains abstract, unanchored, and unreachable. Through her presence, the invisible becomes embodied. Through her consciousness, the divine becomes livable. The divine feminine does not chase, pursue, or convince. Her power does not operate through effort or force. She illuminates. Like a lighthouse rooted firmly into the rock beneath turbulent seas, she stands steady while the old world storms around her. Her healing is not loud or dramatic, yet it is unmistakable. As she clears trauma, dissolves fear, and returns to her inner alignment, her frequency stabilizes. In that stability, she becomes a beacon, one that does not demand attention, yet cannot be ignored. Her ascension does not drag the divine masculine forward or attempt to fix him. That would contradict the very nature of divine law. Instead, her rise creates resonance. As she ascends through her energetic grids, embodying truth rather than speaking it, her light naturally reaches him, not as pressure, not as instruction, but as remembrance. Her healed state mirrors back to him what he once knew, but forgot: his own heart, his own integrity, his own spiritual origin. This is how the masculine awakens, not through being told what to do, but through witnessing what is possible. Her embodiment of truth activates dormant memory within his soul. Her alignment softens his defenses. Her light reopens his spirit. In her presence, he remembers not because she teaches him, but because her wholeness reflects his potential. This is the sacred design of union. The feminine leads not by direction, but by embodiment. When she is fully healed, the path home becomes visible. Before we move into the next layer of this teaching, I want to invite you to pause for a moment, not to analyze, but to feel. Let these words settle in your body and heart. Notice what resonates, what stirs, what feels familiar or quietly challenging. This journey is not about gathering information. It is about recognition. If something within you feels seen or awakened by this understanding of the divine feminine as the living foundation, honor that awareness. Take a moment to reflect, and if you feel called, share your thoughts in the comments, or simply type, "I lead through embodiment." By doing so, you are not just engaging with this message, you are anchoring it into your own consciousness, as we move forward together into the next phase of this unfolding truth. Section 2. Awakening the Divine Masculine through Activation. When the Divine Feminine completes her inner healing, a profound energetic shift takes place, one that does not require words, demands, or pursuit. The Divine Masculine begins to awaken. This awakening is not triggered by pressure or persuasion, but by resonance. It occurs because the feminine, now fully embodied in her truth, becomes a living frequency that activates something ancient and dormant within him. As he witnesses the feminine standing rooted in authenticity, integrity, and self-sovereignty, forgotten codes within his soul begin to stir. This is not an intellectual realization, it is a visceral remembering. He remembers why he is here. He remembers who he is, beneath conditioning, fear, and inherited expectations. The feminine does not teach him his purpose, she mirrors it back to him simply by being aligned. At the core of the Divine Masculine blueprint lies service. This is a truth often misunderstood or distorted by the modern world. Service is not weakness, it is not self-erasure, and it is certainly not submission. Sacred service is responsibility willingly chosen. It is the soul's devotion to something greater than the ego. Every man carries this blueprint within him, whether he is consciously aware of it or not. When dormant, it may express as restlessness, frustration, or avoidance. When activated, it becomes clarity, direction, and grounded strength. The Divine Masculine is designed to protect not through control, but through presence, to provide not just materially, but energetically and emotionally, to structure to bring form, stability, and coherence to vision, and to build not for personal validation, but for collective good. These impulses are not learned behaviors, they are innate functions that activate when the masculine feels safe to return to his heart. Crucially, this activation does not arise from egoic performance or external approval. It emerges from devotion to truth, to purpose, and to the sacred bond between inner masculine and feminine energies. When the feminine stands healed and whole, she becomes a lighthouse, not directing the masculine where to go, but illuminating the path he already knows at a soul level. In this way, the awakening of the Divine Masculine is not forced, chased, or demanded. It is invited. It unfolds naturally when the feminine anchors her light fully into the world. What awakens in him is not obligation, but remembrance, and from that remembrance, true service is born. Section 3. Building the New Earth through Feminine Vision. The Divine Masculine does not bring worlds into being through imagination alone. His role is not to dream the blueprint of creation, but to give structure to what has already been envisioned. It is the Divine Feminine who carries the original vision, the frequency of heaven on earth, held within her intuition, her body, and her soul. The masculine's sacred role is to translate that vision into form, anchoring it into the physical world through action, discipline, and devotion. The feminine perceives what is possible beyond time. She senses the future before it arrives, holding the energetic template of a more harmonious world. The masculine, when awakened, becomes the builder of that template. He constructs the inner council, the values, systems, and principles that uphold the vision. He builds the walls of the new earth, not as barriers of separation, but as foundations of safety, integrity, and sustainability. Through consistent, grounded action, he stabilizes what the feminine has received through spirit, ensuring that vision does not remain an idea, but becomes a lived reality. Once activated, the Divine Masculine naturally steps into the role of guardian of life. Protection arises not from fear or possession, but from reverence. He becomes a protector of the feminine, not to control her, but to create the conditions in which her wisdom can flow freely. He becomes a steward of Mother Earth, recognizing that the same life force moving through the feminine also pulses through the land, the waters, and all living beings. The masculine's deepest fulfillment is not found in dominance or conquest. His greatest pleasure is service to the true feminine, the spiritual feminine, the goddess beyond distortion. This is the feminine unfiltered by projection, fantasy, or wounded archetypes. It is the feminine as truth, as source, as living intelligence. When the masculine perceives the goddess within you through the clarity of the heart, the awareness of the crown, and the insight of the third eye, something instinctual awakens. He is drawn, not by desire alone, but by devotion. From this recognition flows his natural impulse to protect, to heal, and to serve. In this sacred dynamic, the new earth is not imagined, it is built, lived, and sustained through the union of vision and action. Imagine a simple yet powerful example unfolding in everyday life. A woman has done the deep inner work, healing old wounds, releasing the need to be chosen, and standing firmly in her truth. She is no longer chasing outcomes or explaining her worth. She moves through the world with quiet clarity, guided by intuition and anchored in self-respect. Her vision for life is not spoken loudly, yet it is felt. She holds a natural sense of harmony, how relationships should feel, how work should serve life, how the home should become a place of nourishment rather than survival. This is the feminine vision of the new earth, lived rather than declared. A man enters her field not because she called him, but because her alignment awakens something within him. In her presence, he feels a desire to rise, to organize his life, to become more responsible with his time, his resources, and his energy. He begins to take grounded action, creating stability, making clear decisions, building structures that support both of them. He does not feel diminished by this role. He feels fulfilled. Her clarity gives his strength direction. Her vision gives his effort meaning. Together, without forcing roles or rehearsing spiritual language, they demonstrate the sacred pattern. The feminine holds the knowing of what is possible, and the masculine brings it into form. In this living example, the lesson becomes visible. The new earth is not built through words or dominance, but through aligned vision, meeting devoted action. Section 4. The masculine as guardian of innocence and earth. At his core, the divine masculine carries an ancient and sacred encoding, the instinct to protect what is pure, vulnerable, and life-giving. This protection is not born from dominance or fear, but from devotion. He is designed to safeguard innocence in all its forms, to stand as a shield for the feminine, for children, and for the living body of the earth itself. This impulse runs deeper than personality or culture. It is etched into his spiritual blueprint as a natural response to love. When awakened, he does not hesitate to stand between harm and what must be preserved. Protection for him is an act of reverence. As this inner code activates, the divine masculine begins to remember why he is here. His role is not merely to survive within the world as it is, but to help construct a new way of living upon it. He is here to build systems, new templates of family, community, leadership, and stewardship that are rooted in love, peace, justice, and higher order. These structures arise not from ambition, but from alignment. They are shaped by conscience, guided by wisdom, and sustained by responsibility. Through him, vision becomes form, and ideals become something that can be lived, touched, and passed forward. It is important to understand that these new systems are not political in nature. They do not belong to parties, ideologies, or power hierarchies. What the awakened masculine brings into the world are energetic frameworks, subtle yet powerful grids that organize reality from the inside out. These are new earth structures formed from unity rather than control, from service rather than exploitation, and from divine mission rather than personal gain. They operate on coherence instead of coercion, and on guardianship instead of extraction. In these frameworks, life is honored, resources are respected, and progress is measured by harmony rather than dominance. This is precisely why the awakening of the divine masculine unsettles the old world. Systems built on separation, manipulation, and unchecked authority cannot survive in the presence of a masculine force that remembers his true function. When he awakens, he no longer feeds structures that thrive on harm. He withdraws his energy from cycles of exploitation and redirects it toward protection, restoration, and conscious creation. His presence alone destabilizes outdated paradigms because he refuses to build anything that violates innocence, truth, or the sanctity of life. The awakened divine masculine does not destroy the old world through violence. He outgrows it. By choosing to protect rather than dominate, to serve rather than extract, and to build from love rather than fear, he quietly but powerfully becomes a guardian of the future. Through him, the earth is no longer something to conquer but something to protect, honor, and pass on, whole and thriving, to the generations yet to come. Section 5. The collapse of the old matrix. The world structure you are witnessing right now is not random, nor is it accidental. It operates as a matrix, an artificial system designed to regulate energy, consciousness, and human behavior. This structure was never built to support collective flourishing or shared prosperity. Its foundation rests on elite preservation, where power circulates upward and is protected at all costs, while the majority are conditioned to struggle, compete, and remain disconnected from their true nature. Fear is the primary currency of this matrix. It governs decision-making, shapes identity, and keeps individuals locked in survival mode. Control is what sustains it. Control of resources, narratives, time, and even self-perception. When fear is normalized, obedience becomes automatic. When control is internalized, people no longer need to be restrained from the outside. They police themselves, suppress their intuition, and doubt their inner authority. This is how the matrix maintains its grip, not through overt force alone, but through psychological and energetic conditioning. This is also why the old energies are deeply threatened by the awakening of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. The divine feminine dissolves fear by restoring inner truth, emotional sovereignty, and intuitive clarity. She exposes illusion simply by being embodied in her authenticity. And once the divine masculine awakens in his true form, not distorted by ego, dominance, or suppression, he no longer protects the system that exploits life. He withdraws his strength from structures of harm and redirects it toward guardianship, justice, and conscious creation. At that moment, the emergence of the new earth becomes inevitable. When the masculine remembers who he truly is, the foundations of the old matrix begin to crack. The power that once sustained false hierarchies starts to dissolve, because it was never real power to begin with. It was borrowed, extracted, and maintained through illusion. As consciousness rises, that illusion collapses. Authority rooted in fear loses its influence. Systems that depend on separation can no longer function in an energetic field of unity. What once appeared solid reveals itself as hollow. To build the new earth, a fundamental shift must occur. Spiritual power must replace egoic power. Egoic power seeks domination, validation, and control. Spiritual power is quiet, grounded, and unshakable. It does not need to prove itself. It moves through integrity, coherence, and alignment with truth. When spiritual power becomes the organizing force of society within individuals first, and then collectively structures naturally reorganize around fairness, respect, and sustainability. The collapse of the old matrix is not chaos, it is correction. It is the dismantling of systems that could never support life in its fullness. As illusion fades, a new order rooted in consciousness, service, and shared responsibility rises in its place. This is not the end of the world, it is the end of a world built on fear. And from its ashes, a living, unified earth begins to take form. Section 6. Spiritual power versus egoic power. The divine masculine and the divine feminine are designed to lead in different, yet perfectly complementary ways. The divine masculine leads through third-dimensional action, through movement, structure, protection, and tangible creation in the physical world. He brings vision into form. He builds, organizes, and stabilizes reality so that higher truths can be lived, not just contemplated. The divine feminine, by contrast, leads through spiritual authority. Her power moves through frequency, embodiment, intuition, and inner alignment. She anchors truth into the field before it ever becomes visible. Neither role is superior, both are essential. Without one, the other cannot fully function. True power, however, has nothing to do with domination. Domination is the language of egoic power, power that seeks control because it is disconnected from source. True power arises from alignment with divinity. It flows naturally when one is working with God, with destiny, and with authentic passion, rather than against them. In this state, action is no longer forced. Effort becomes purposeful, and strength becomes clean. Power expresses itself as clarity, integrity, and unwavering direction rather than aggression or conquest. This distinction is crucial because egoic power always competes, while spiritual power cooperates. Egoic power demands recognition. Spiritual power does not require validation. It moves quietly, but its impact is profound. When the divine masculine is aligned spiritually, his actions carry coherence. What he builds lasts. What he protects thrives. What he leads becomes stable, because it is rooted in truth rather than personal ambition. The divine masculine does not need to learn this power from the outside world. It is not something that must be taught, earned, or imposed. It is already encoded within his DNA as part of his original design. These are ancient codes, patterns of leadership, service, and guardianship that have existed long before modern structures distorted masculine expression. For many, these codes have remained dormant, suppressed by fear, conditioning, and misaligned systems that rewarded ego over integrity. Yet dormancy does not mean absence. These codes are waiting for activation. When fifth-dimensional energy begins to move through the masculine, when fear dissolves and alignment replaces survival, something irreversible occurs. His actions become guided by higher intelligence. His strength reconnects with purpose. His leadership aligns with service rather than control. In that moment, the new earth is no longer an idea or a future promise. It is born through his hands, his choices, and his embodied truth, brought fully into form through conscious, divinely aligned action. If you have made it this far, pause for a moment and truly feel what has been shared. This is not just information, it is a remembering. Notice what stirred within you, what resonated, and what quietly shifted as you listened. Reflection is how these teachings move from the mind into the body and the soul. If your own journey, experiences, or inner awakenings came to the surface while watching, honor them by sharing your story in the comments. Your voice matters, and your reflection may be exactly what someone else needs to hear. And if you feel the truth of this activation within you, but don't yet have words, simply type, "I choose divine alignment," as an affirmation. By doing so, you are not just engaging, you are consciously anchoring this frequency and declaring your readiness to walk in spiritual power rather than egoic force. Section 7. Unity beyond ego and division. As the new earth begins to awaken, something profound and irreversible takes place within human consciousness. The structures built on ego, competition, comparison, domination, and separation start to dissolve naturally. They do not collapse through force, but through irrelevance. Humanity begins to sense, at a deep inner level, that the old ways of defining identity no longer sustain the soul. The constant need to compete fades. The illusion of us versus them loses its power. Separation, once treated as truth, is revealed as misunderstanding. In this awakening, humanity remembers its shared soul. This remembrance does not occur through belief systems or external authority. It arises from an inner recognition that transcends labels and constructs. Beyond religion, people begin to feel the same source breathing through different expressions of faith. Beyond nationality, borders soften as shared humanity becomes more visible than inherited divisions. Beyond gender, the sacred balance of masculine and feminine energy is understood as complementary rather than opposing. Beyond color, the soul is recognized as light inhabiting many forms, none superior, none inferior. Love becomes the organizing principle of this new consciousness. Not romantic love, not conditional love, but an intelligent, stabilizing force that naturally harmonizes systems, relationships, and timelines. As love expands, soul consciousness replaces egoic consciousness. Decisions are no longer driven by fear, control, or scarcity, but by coherence, responsibility, and care for the whole. This is where the true mission of the divine masculine becomes clear. The awakened masculine is not here to dominate or compete. He is here to serve. To serve the feminine not as submission, but as sacred devotion to balance and life. to serve the earth not as a resource to exploit, but as a living organism to protect and sustain. To protect innocence, children, creativity, truth, and the vulnerable spaces where new life and new ideas emerge. His role is to build, not empires of ego, but platforms of awakening, structures that support growth, healing, education, justice, and spiritual evolution. Systems that stabilize higher timelines into lived reality, so that higher consciousness is not just spoken about, but embodied in daily life. When the masculine fulfills this role, unity becomes practical, not theoretical. The new earth is no longer an idea, it becomes a lived experience. The divine masculine was never designed to rule through dominance, fear, or control. At his core, he exists to serve life itself. His power does not come from authority imposed on the world, but from responsibility willingly embraced for the protection, stability, and continuation of life. True masculine awakening does not occur through external instruction or forceful correction. It is activated through resonance, through witnessing the divine feminine fully embodied in her truth, grounded in her healing, and anchored in love. When the feminine rises as the living foundation, the masculine remembers who he has always been. Once awakened, the divine masculine steps into his sacred function as the builder of the new world. He becomes the architect of structures that sustain consciousness rather than suppress it, systems rooted in integrity, protection, and service. This is not about power over others, it is about power with life. The masculine stabilizes what the feminine anchors. He protects what she births. Together, they form a living current through which the new earth becomes not an idea, but a lived reality. This union is not forged through struggle or conquest. It is not enforced through ideology or hierarchy. It unfolds naturally through love, coherence, and inner alignment. This is not mythology or symbolic poetry. It is an energetic truth revealing itself through human consciousness, one individual at a time. Destiny is not something waiting in the future. It is something awakening within you now. If this message resonated with you, do not rush past it. Allow it to integrate. Sit with what stirred inside your body, your heart, your awareness. Remembrance is already happening within you, even if you cannot yet name it. Before you go, I invite you to leave a comment below and clearly write this affirmation. When I embody love, the new earth begins through me. If this message supported your understanding, please like this video, share it with someone who may need this remembrance, and continue the journey by watching the next video below. The unfolding does not end here, it deepens.